Mathematicians, thanks for joining me today. We are just going to do a quick revisit of the number story I gave you guys last time, and then we're going to spend some time reviewing some addition and subtraction sentences so that we can help you guys be solving those number sentences both accurately and efficiently. So let's get started. I left you guys last time with a number story. Here we go. Okay, and our number story went like this. A red ant mound can be up to 24 inches tall and 18 inches wide. How many inches taller is a mound compared to its width? So I drew this picture last time so that we could visualize what it's asking, but I did not give you an answer or a strategy to use. So since you guys have had some time to work on it, I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the steps that I would take. They might be a little different than your steps because we all prefer different strategies. So I started with my picture knowing that 24 was my greatest unit and 18 was my smaller unit. Since it is asking me how many inches taller, I also know that I'm looking for a difference. I'm trying to find the amount that is between 18 and 24, which means I'm going to be subtracting. So 24 is my whole, 18 is my part. I'm missing my other part, so I'm going to do that by subtracting 24 minus 18. Now, this would be a pretty big subtraction if I was doing counting back or drawing a picture. So instead of doing either of those, I'm going to count up from 28 and find out how many it takes to get to 24. So start at 18, out of my head, and see how many it takes. That's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It took me 6 to get there. So 6 is my missing piece, and an ant mound is 6 inches taller than it is wide. So that was just one strategy. You may have used a different one, and that's okay because our brains are different and amazing. So let's focus on what we're doing today. So I gave you guys some addition and subtraction sentences last week. Actually, I just gave you subtraction last week for you guys to use your strategies and solve. Then after talking to a few friends, I decided that maybe a review of those strategies would be really helpful. So these are the go-tos. When you are adding or subtracting, drawing, using counters, counting on or counting back, using a number grid, making 10, using part, whole, and related facts, using a number line, or using facts I know. These are the 8 go-to ways that can help you accurately solve an addition or subtraction sentence. But our focus for the day, and if you guys can see right behind me, is I can choose a strategy to help me solve addition and subtraction sentences accurately, which means correctly, you're getting the correct answer, but also efficiently. And efficiently means you're doing it in a way that is quick, doesn't have to be mental math, but it's quick in a way that you can keep building your brain and your brain isn't getting frustrated because it's taking so long. So our focus today is accuracy and efficiency. So let's go back to our camera here. Okay, so today I'm just going to give you guys some demonstrations. I'm going to show you how you could use these strategies for addition or subtraction. One of the biggest tips I have, friends, is paying very close attention to your operation, which means pay close attention to whether it's adding or subtracting. So I'm going to start right here with, let's do 13. That's really right. 13 plus 5. Okay, if I'm going to use drawing to draw 13 plus 5, I could draw 13 and 5 and add them together, or I could just keep 13 in my head and draw 5. So 13 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I used drawing to count on. They got me to 18. If I'm drawing for subtraction, maybe I'm doing 18 minus 5. I'm going to draw my larger number. I like to draw in 10 frames. So it's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then I cross out or take away 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which leaves me with 10 and 3, which is 13. Okay, that's that drawing strategy. It is very accurate, but it also takes a long time. So it might not be the most efficient, but our goal number 1 is accuracy, and then we work towards efficiency. So next is using counters. Counters can be your fingers, it can be a rec and rec, it can be place value pieces. Counters are just a way for you to touch and move, and your brain can follow along. So let's say we're doing 16 plus 5, okay? If I'm using counters, I would take maybe my place value pieces and I would do 16, and then I would add on 5 from there. You don't have to have place value pieces. You could have popsicle sticks and pennies, or popsicle sticks and beads, or maybe pretzels and Cheerios. I don't know, whatever you have to help you visualize those numbers. So here's 16, and I can add on 5 more. I need to add on here. I can add them all together. So I see that here is a group of 10. So this is 10 and 10, that's 20. 2 10s and 1, that makes 21. Counters are also helpful if I'm subtracting. If it was 16 minus 5, I would start with my 16. I would take away 5 and see that I have 11 left. Okay, so drawing and counters. They're both not the fastest strategy, but they are very accurate as long as you're careful with your counting. Counting on and counting back is a fast one. It is definitely efficient, but we do have to be careful to make sure that we're staying accurate. So counting on and counting back involves starting with the larger number, putting it in your head, and then going up or down the other number. So let's do 17 plus 3. I'm going to put 17 in my head, and I'm going to count on 3 more numbers, which means I'm going to count higher 3 times. So 17, 18, 19, 20. I counted up 3. That took me to 20. This also works for subtraction. If I was doing 17 minus 3, 17 in my head, and I'm going to count to a lower number 3 times. So 17, 16, 15, 14. It works both ways, and it's fast because I'm not having to count 17. That's where I'm starting. Okay. Number grid is also a very quick strategy. So I made this for you guys so that you guys can be using the number grid, 10 frames, part, whole, and a number line also at home. If you put it in a plastic sleeve, you can use a dry erase marker just like I do. It can be like a page protector, it can be a laminated sheet, but that way you can use it over and over again. So a number grid is a great strategy because we can easily see the numbers on the number grid and we can follow the patterns that we know. So let's say I'm adding maybe 8 plus 9, okay? If I start on my number grid at 8 and I jump up 9, or I could start on 9 and that gives me 1 less place to jump. Okay, so I start on 9 and then jump up 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is where I land, 17. That's also helpful for subtraction. I start at a higher number, I take away my smaller number. So I start at 19 and I take away 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12. I like the number grid a lot because I can use it to solve really big number sentences like 65 plus 41. I jump forward 40 and one more. 65 plus 41 is 106. So it's a really great tool, especially as we get into those higher numbers. So making 10 is a great strategy because our brains love tens and they're really, really easy to work with. So your brain knows right off that, well, 10 plus 3 is 13, and 10 plus 5 is 15. So if you can change your numbers, like maybe 9 plus 7, if you can change this into a fact that involves 10, it is a lot easier for your brain to work with. So I know that 9 is really close to 10. It's just missing one piece. So if I take one little piece away from my 7 and I move it up to my 9 here to create a 10, now I have 10 and 6, and 10 and 6 is a way to make 16. So making 10 is a really efficient strategy because you already know how easy it is to add on to 10. So that's that. Part whole is a super useful strategy because it uses what we know about related facts. If you already know that 8 plus 8 equals 16, if you already know that, then you can also very easily figure out that 16 minus 8 is 8 because those are just related. They're a flip-flop of each other. So part whole is really helpful for that, figuring out facts that you know the opposite of. I know that 12 plus 7 equals 19, so I also know that 19 minus 12 equals 7. Okay, all right, number line. This is a favorite of a lot of my friends, and you guys now have a number line up to 30 that you can use on your own. Number line is incredibly efficient, and it's great because you can make your own number line too, but here's the trick. You have to be careful to count your hops. Sometimes friends get confused and they count the numbers that they're moving and they're not counting the hops that they're going. So for example, if I'm adding, say, 11 plus 9, I'm going to find 11 on my number line. Here it is. And from 11, I'm going to jump. I'm adding, so I'm going to jump forward 9 times. So I'm not counting the numbers. I'm not starting on 11. I'm counting my hops. Can you guys help me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and that takes me right there to 20. I had 9 hops, it took me to 20. Now it works the same for subtraction, even with higher numbers. Say I'm starting at 24 and I'm taking away 8. Here's 24, and I'm going to count this direction 8 hops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here it is, 16. Okay? And last but not least, using facts I know. So using facts I know is very closely related to part whole because they both use related facts. So if I know that, say, if I already know that 8 plus 8 equals 16, then it's really not hard for me to figure out that 8 plus 9 should be one more than this one I already knew. So 8 plus 8 is 16. That means 8 plus 9 is one more than 16. That is 17. Nice, okay? And that also works the opposite direction. If I already know that 9 plus 9 is 18, 9 plus 8, 1 less than 9, means our answer should be 1 less than 18, which would be 17. Okay, so here are those common strategies that we love and help us find our addition and subtraction answers accurately, but it's up to you to figure out which one is efficient for you to use. So ultimately, these could all turn into mental math facts for you, and that's fantastic, but this is how you turn them into mental math facts. You figure out a strategy that works for you, and you go to town on it, okay? So, friends, I'm going to leave you today with a new number story. Okay, so here it is. It was a cold day for a hike, so each of the 4 girls was wearing 1 hat, 2 mittens, and 2 thick pairs of socks. How many hats, mittens, and boots are there all together? Okay, so I'm going to draw a picture to wrap our brains around it, and I'm going to leave you guys with this. So it was a cold day for a hike. That's not really important. I'm going to keep moving on. So each of the 4 girls, okay, that is important. I know that there are 4 girls. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each one was wearing 1 hat, 2 thick pairs of socks each, and 2 mittens. How many hats, mittens, and boots, so I think boots and socks we're going to count as the same thing, are there all together? So I'm going to leave you guys with this. Decide what strategy you want to use to solve it, and knock yourself out. All right, kiddos, you are absolutely amazing. And I just want to remind you that your brains can do amazing things even when it gets challenging. So hold on to your growth mindset, hold on to your creativity, and yeah, do some math. Bye, guys.